This is Jose Vasquez, and I will be presenting assignment 3, the chat messenger. So, first and foremost, I just want to start off by giving a quick demo that it compiles and that it's running. So, test 1 terminated properly. I'm not too sure why I'm getting these messages though. I wasn't getting them previously. I started getting them suddenly. This is executing test 2. Obviously, it wouldn't run if it doesn't pass test 1. So, my mistake, I was holding the enter button. But yeah, it's all here. And here we have it. It passed all the tests. So we'll be presenting the code now. And I just want to start off with the chat server. At the very top, we have importing all necessary things that I will be needing to finish this in order for it to work. Public class chat server. These are my global variables. They can be accessed by all the methods within this class. I have a server socket that it represents a server socket that is constructed on a particular port. This is basically its declaration right here. So we have a hash map, and then an executor server, the thread service, and then the server socket. But I don't want to start up here. I want to start from the very main. So we declare a variable. I was waiting for its reference. It's the port number. So I put everything in a try catch block, and it's gonna get the port number if it's gonna assign the first argument given by the user to the variable port number. As you can see, argument 0 would be the first argument given. If it is not a number, it's gonna throw the invalid port number message. But if it is successful and it does set it to the port, it's gonna create a new object class. So it's gonna be a new server, and it's gonna be called new server, and it's gonna then execute the client listen and then the server close. Execute the close method. So at the very top, we're gonna have the class constructor, which is public chat server, the port number. So this creates a new server socket. Socket instance with the given port number, and this creates a new hash map that will be made up of sockets. This is going to create a thread pool that reuses a fixed number of threads operating off a shared unbound queue. And then right here we're gonna do the client listen. This method is the one that connects to the client and has no return. So while true, it's gonna be in a try catch block. It's the socket client is gonna accept the server socket, and it's gonna connect with the client. This will get the output stream from the client. Hash sock put will fill the hash map with the sockets, and the thread will handle all the input and output text between clients. And then we're gonna have the handle message or the handle text. This is what the read and write between the clients. This handles that. This method will handle that. So first, I just want to again, I put everything in a try catch block statement. So in this method, I instantly declared a string message pointing to null and a string client name pointing to null, because when the message, each client, the first message is going to be set to the name, and that's what is going to be displayed to every single display, the name of each different client. So first we're going to have the input, and it's going to be, red. And while message is not null, so while there, as long as the client writes something, if this is the client name is declared as the first word. So if the client is null and the client name is going to equal to the message, meaning the first message. And this right here is basically sending for every socket S1. It's going to basically display the messages and the client name. This is what displays everything basically. After everything, you want to do a hash socket remove, just in case you do want to get out, once you want to get out. And then we have the close function, which basically closes the method and it closes all threads. So this is pretty much it for the server code. And then on the client side, pretty basic at the very top again, we import all the things we're going to need for this class to work. And we go start from the main. So we're going to have a port number declared. And again, everything is in a try catch block. Most of my code is a try catch. This will get the port number from the command line. It's going to get the first argument and it's going to set to the port. And if it's not a port, or if it's not an int, it's going to say it's the wrong input. If it's successful, it's going to go through. It's going to create a new client instance or object, and it's gonna basically execute the perform method, which is my first method. I have declared variables right here for pretty basic, just like the chat server, the client socket, user input, output, input, and the variable that handles the messages. So in the public chat client, basically have creating the sockets, the input and output streams, and then the perform method doesn't return anything, but it handles the reading and writing between all the clients. So it's going to create a thread pool, and this is where everything reading and writing is basically handled. We have the scan server, which reads everything, reads the messages. So while while there is a message is gonna get the inputs, basically a scanner. So all the message you're inputting, it's gonna be displayed. Yeah, and then it's gonna terminate if it's not, if it's empty, if it's closed, if no input is given, it's gonna close. The server input, in the server input, this one writes messages to the server, the other one handles the reading. So while user input has the next line, messages equals user input dot next line. And then if as long as it's not 0, then it will output. If messages is 0, it's gonna break, but if it's not, then it's gonna output whatever you're printing, wherever you're typing in. And obviously, if it doesn't close, or if there is no next line, then it's just gonna terminate the client. This is the method to shut down the client socket, terminate client. So it's gonna shut down the stream and it's gonna exit the system. And that is it for my code. Thank you very much. Have a good day.